Hey, welcome back. It's Thursday. It's another Agent Tactics. My guests are two good friends of mine. We literally just hung out in January and did a whole mastermind. And so when I was thinking about guests for this year, I wanted to have them on, and it was just happened to be so perfect opportunity that they just did REVB. And I asked them before they did REVB, hey, can you come do a recap after? They said yes. Matt Patullo or Roland Osage, two of my favorite people. Welcome. And two of the people that I've heard and it wasn't just Matt posting that those guys were the best or Roland posting that those guys are the best. Several people said you guys literally from start to finish, REVB was absolute fire and it started with you guys. So uh, welcome, guys.
Wow, what an intro.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Jerry.
Jeremy. Appreciate that, bud.
Always an honor to be here.
Yeah, 49.95 per compliment, guys. So um, all right, so start us off. Like I'm gonna let you guys rip and do what you do best. Let's do a quick recap of our EBB, and then I want to go into what you guys talked about. What were some of the big nuggets that you got out of the 2 days, and what were some of the best things that you guys got out of the 2 days?
For me, it was just, RevB. RevB is the conference and seminar that is just actionable, right? And that's why for me, it's my personal conference I go to, my personal favorite conference I go to every year, because I can take away so many actionable things. And I'll just take away one big actionable thing for me, and I'll let Roland kind of go from there, is everybody who spoke was so incredible. But for me, it was Jason Cassidy who showed a lot of strategies that were so easy to implement. So he does one thing. I don't know if you've seen it, Jeremy, as an example for anyone who wasn't there, is he'll take his CSV file of his clients on a Google map. So he can kind of plot it out and see where his clients have bought houses. Then he'll take a sold in the entire area of the last 30 days, 60 days, however long you want to do it. And then he overlaps them. And basically, he sees if any homes have sold near where his clients live. That manufactures a way to reach out. Hey, Jeremy Knight, what's up, man? Been a little bit since we bought your home. Did you see that the house right down the street from you sold for 800,000 and you bought yours, 3 years ago for 7? Pretty good equity in just a couple of years, $100,000. That's awesome, man. Just want to let you know, see if you had any questions. But it's just like a good way to reach out to these clients that maybe you haven't talked to in a few years with valuable information, and just to get the conversation started around possible selling, possible investing. And so that was something for me that was just so easily actionable. It was one of the biggest notes I have circled in my notebook. And he gave so many little nuggets like that that are just easy to bang off in a day that you can just check through, and it helps you build your business and make better connections.
Yeah,
I
Matt
love
loves
that one.
banging off in a day. So
Do you see how many times I did it too?
for me, it was Alyssa because I'd been doing business highlights for a long time, but I've just kind of dropped the ball lately. I've just been so focused on the home tours, which are the most like lead producing things for Matt and I. But those business highlights are like the best brand awareness. You can call them ads. They're not ads, but they're like once you do it correctly, they're the most reach, the most local follows. Just like you can't ask for anything better than that if you're doing local content because it's that really top of funnel. And once they start seeing some really beautiful houses from you and going down, they're like, oh, cool, this is my person. So Alyssa was like a big click of like, I just need to, systematize that and really put that back into my wheelhouse of doing one of those a week, or even at the very least every other week. Shane, I really, really loved because, you know, dude's presence is just awesome. And he had some great jokes in there, which I always
Shane
appreciate.
Bergman.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but also his approach to YouTube was super cool. It's like what he does is a little bit different. We're seeing YouTube ads become a little bit more prominent, but just the fact that he keeps his videos to the point on YouTube and they work well for him. It doesn't have to be that has to be 10 to 15 to 20 minutes thing. It just works good. And he does kind of similar thing to Alyssa just on YouTube. So I think if you can make all those work best for you and your market, it's kind of the same thing that we talked about on TikTok. Like Matt and I getting on TikTok, we were the only people in our market to just dominate market share. And if nobody else does that on YouTube, kind of like the local highlight stuff, then maybe you can do the same thing on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'll have to pull up Shane. Shane's YouTube channel to see what he's doing differently. But, as somebody whose business directly comes from YouTube, I can say it is the best way to get leads. But you're doing things through TikTok, and I'll share your TikTok real quick. In fact, I'll allow you guys both to share stuff. Cool, got it. I think it's this one. So, and this is like what we were, we've had you on before on Agent Tactics, and we talked about your style of TikTok. And it's these property tours. I mean, 8.7 million on this property, 28.2K. You get a lot of stuff that pops off, and you come up in my TikTok all the time. But you're basically just doing a walkthrough tour of the property, talking about the property. You say "What up" in the mirror when you're in the mirror. But you do how many of these per week?
Yeah, so Matt and I do about 7 per week. I can say with confidence, Matt has been just absolutely murdering me in consistency lately. He is just a consistency machine. But some weeks are tough, right? Just like we get super busy. Sometimes like I'll have like 5 or 6 if I'm lucky. I love seeing what your algorithm's producing there, Jeremy.
Well, this
Uh,
isn't even, I'm not even signed in on my desktop, so.
sure, dude. Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, of course.
Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, so 7 a week, we do batch them all in one day every Tuesday for Matt and I, knock them all out. But you know what's funny? Matt and I talked about what we didn't even get into, which is so awesome for you, those of you who are on the call today, is like we didn't get into camera settings or some of like the nitty gritty stuff. So that's awesome. We'll be able to get into that too.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into all that. I'm going to let you guys rip here in a second. Okay, so Shane Bergman, his style to YouTube. We said Jason Cassidy. What were some of the other big nuggets? And if you were at REVB, do me a favor and write in the comment section one of the nuggets or one of the speakers that you really found value from. What else did you guys find value from as far as just the overall experience? I heard that Tim Macy brought down the house with his story. That was awesome. My friend Rod was there, and he said it was by far the most cool thing, especially for like showing like what the culture of real is. But what else you guys found? Matt. Yeah, I found most value from Matt and Roland. Yep.
Um, Bill Olson was really good talking about how he has been building his brand with his business off of the green screen videos. If all of you have seen them, it's where you basically have 3 static pictures, or some people use video, and you just talk about what's happening in your local market. And his videos crush on there. So he was getting really tactical about that. And it made Roland and I look at our own podcasts that we do. And we realized that the most viral things that came from our short form that we would clip from it were development based things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Bill has built his business on. He has said, hey, development based things for this style has worked best for me. I don't know about everybody else, but that's what works best. And I turned to Roland and said, is that what works best for us? And we just haven't like actually taken a minute to look at it. And he's like, yeah, I think that it is. So even the fact that we're not using exactly what Bill was talking about, we're still using the idea
Yeah.
to change and better our own thing that we already have going. So to me, that was sort of the overarching thing that I love about this entire seminar, is the fact that there are so many ideas you can use, not just specifically as the 100% blueprint, but you can add into your own business to tweak and change and just make better.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
look, I'm doing Bill Olson's style. I've copied it for probably, let's see, about 3 months. I've been super consistent with it. And yes, the development, airport transportation, those 3 things, those videos pop off like crazy. And it's not
Yeah.
only they pop off, it's the engagement. And then my DMs are full of like people like, hey, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this. So I have 2 listing appointments tomorrow,
Wow.
just from that style. So I love it. I mean, let's talk about the business of what you guys are getting doing your property. Cause I feel like for most of us, we're not like me, I'm not creative enough. That's why the city planning stuff that intrigues me. It's stuff I can talk about. The property tours, as far as agents go and what agents are trying to do to get business. I feel like the property tour is such a solid way to go. And then I want to talk about your podcast too.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
really is. And because the barrier of entry for what we do is so low. And I don't mean that as a pejorative. It's not because it's bad quality. It's just so easy to start, to get good at, and then continue to do. Like Roland alluded to, we do one, our goal is to do one a week. And on a normal week, we're able to do that. And people ask us, how do you do so many? It's because we batch them. We batch them in one day, and that's why we're able to produce so much. And talking about business from it, Roland gets even more than I do, but we get reach outs. I get probably one every week, every 2 weeks, of people either asking to talk to me or more information about a house, some sort of outreach of, hey Matt, I'm thinking about moving here. Hey Matt, can you give me more information about this house? And so people are outreaching to us, specifically asking about these houses and about the areas that we're showing the videos in.
Yeah, I feel like it's same thing. We touched on this at Rev B, but it's YouTube has been a super hard one to crack in our market. Um, and it's almost like this is very YouTube style with the mid-form content in 5 to 10 minutes. So and we get the amount of reach outs that other agents in their markets get on YouTube through TikTok. So some of you guys may be in like a similar market to us where it's like maybe higher price point, or maybe it's not, but a lot of our clientele moves around the Bay Area, where we have gotten plenty of leads that are coming from coming from Boston, and we've had plenty of those. I know Matt's had plenty of those, but it's just so strange to us that like I put in a ton of time on YouTube and got like maybe 1 to 2 like sales from it, whereas TikTok has been like 100 times that. Um, and it's just funny how different markets work for different people in regards to the videos that they do. But it goes down to that, like building a trust throughout that 5 to 10 minutes, similar to a YouTube video, I think is where just that kind of money is made. Where Instagram, it's so much harder to build that trust within the content that you do.
So as far as like editing though, Johnny has a really good question here. Do you outsource your editing for those 7 videos you're doing? In because maybe I'll pull up your content here in a second, but on Instagram you do a couple different styles of content, right? But on TikTok you just do the property tours. So how are you editing that? How long is it taking to edit those?
So I'll touch on TikTok, Matt, if you want to go on Instagram.
Sure.
TikTok is very, very minimal editing. Like you're talking about like maybe splitting one clip. The most I'll do if I'm like, because I try not to go to the 10-minute mark unless it's a massive house. Usually I'm like in that 7 to 8 minute mark. And the most I'll do to keep it there is like cut out a clip for me going from upstairs to downstairs because they've already seen all that part of the house. So you're talking like the most basic minimal editing on TikTok. And that's where I think, ultimately why we spoke about bees, because like literally everybody on this call can do that type of style. It just takes a little bit of legwork and a little bit of voiceover action. But you know, Matt, I'll have touch on Instagram because his Instagram videos are so clean and so smooth, and they do take a little bit more editing.
Yeah, so this is if you can see this on the screen, I turned the volume off just so we could keep talking and it bother us. But basically, you're filming this, what, 60 frames per second?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're putting your phone into 60 frames per second. You're walking vertically. You can see this on the camera, right? Or
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but
So
this is the speed ramp style, Jeremy. This isn't just the long form TikTok style that you're showing
yeah, so
here.
this is a little
Okay.
speed ramp. So this is a little bit more edited than what he would normally do. But normally you're just walking through from room to room to room. You're what's the approach? All right. So if I'm gonna, so do you just walk through the property first and then go back and voice over it and then like read off a sheet? Like what does that look like?
Go
Are
for
we
it,
if
Matt.
okay, yeah. So basically, if you're talking about this style that we're showing here, is I don't script anything. So let me ask you this, Jeremy. Are we talking about the speed ramp one here? Or are you talking about the TikTok long form? I just want to make sure I answer
I'm
the
talking
right
about both.
question.
So this is on Instagram. I have an issue with TikTok on my desktop, so that's why I didn't pull
Okay.
it up.
Okay.
But
So
it's
for
because I just do it all on mobile. So this was the easiest one to pull up.
no worries. I just want to make sure I was talking about the right one for your
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
So for the TikTok video, the one Roland was talking to with minimal edits, all we are doing is hitting the record button on our phone, holding it in front of us, taking 7 minutes to walk through the house. That's it. That's all we do. No voiceover, nothing yet. We take 7 videos or however many. Then we go home. We grab our microphone, we plug everything in, we turn our desktop on, we put on the MLS so we have all the information in front of us. And then we are able to have that information at a glance. We are able to research some information about the home. Let's say it was built in a historic neighborhood, or maybe someone very prominent from the early 1900s who developed different houses and neighborhoods was the developer for this house. So we can find out a little more historic information if there is some. And that way, when we start going through our voiceovers, we hit play on the video for us to voice over. And then we're just talking about what we've already done and what we're seeing already. It's like taking a buyer through a house. So then you're saying, "Hey everyone, welcome to 123 Banana Street. Wow, look at the courtyard in this one. It's absolutely incredible. If you want to see one of the most expensive homes we've seen on this channel, stick with me until the end." And that's the hook. And then we just start walking through the house. That's all it is. It's so easy to do.
Now let's talk about, okay, so you're shooting it, right? You're walking through the property, coming back, looking at the property details, voiceovering as you're walking through it. So you're probably just using, what app are you using? CapCut to do the
CapCut.
voiceover?
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to CapCut. Are you using a mic to do that, or are you just doing it straight on the phone?
Yeah, we have a mic. I have a little DJI like wireless mic. I got it off of Amazon.
Perfect.
I didn't even start with, this was like kind of a nicer one. I started with a $50 one first, just
Perfect.
before I could, and then I upgraded after a little bit of time. So that's all it takes.
Perfect. Okay, so these are super easy to edit. I mean, it's almost as easy to edit as what Bill Olson and I are doing. It just takes a little more research and finding the information, right? So you're shooting it, you're voiceovering it with a mic that you have at home. You're doing it on CapCut. Then you upload it to TikTok. What are the calls to action, or how are you actually getting reach outs, and how do you handle the reach outs? Is it mini chat? Is it just old fashioned texting people? What does that part look like? Because it's one thing to do this and start getting it the views, but let's talk about how we get the business from it.
Take this one, Roland, Mr. Systems Expert.
Can you guys see Matt's video?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just want to make sure. So yeah, it's a couple different ways. Like for instance, we'll get some comments every once in a while where it's like very obvious that they're like kind of nudging, like, "Oh man, I've been looking lately, and this is exactly what I would need." And then we'll convert from the comments. We'll be like, "Hey, send me a DM." Sometimes they'll go straight to a DM where they're just raising their hand. They're letting us know about their situation. They're saying that they just inherited a house or whatever the case is. But the most common way is the link in our bio. So let me try to do my best to exit out of here. So for instance, someone clicks Matt's link tree, sees his pretty face up there. They're like, not my type of guy. I'm going to go with Roland instead. But no, they hit this. I'm interested in buying a home. Then they fill out
And
this
what are you
9.
using for the link in bio? Is it Linktree? Is it something else?
Matt uses Linktree. I use direct.me. It's very, it's very similar. It's not going to make a huge
Okay.
impact, whatever, which way you go. The main thing is getting them to this form.
Yeah.
You can do a Google form. You can do a Wufoo. You can do a Jot form. It's not going to make too much of a difference within that. It's the content. So 9 questions. What I do like about Wufoo though, is that if you've ever had like I think it's type forms or something where it's like asks question by question and you don't know when those questions are going to end. And then some people have like fucking 20 questions. And by the
Ugh.
time they're clicking and clicking and clicking, they're like, all right, what, screw this. I'm gonna just exit out of this. I don't have time for this. So this shows them exactly what they have to, like what they're gonna have to answer, which is 9 very simple questions. Best number to contact you, which one do you like, text or call. If they don't text back after a few outreaches, we're gonna call them regardless, right? Profession, this is a good one in our market, just so it gets us a little bit more prepared. The most common that we see in our market is like engineers, tech, healthcare, whatever it is. This is a good one too. How soon are you looking to start? Have you started the pre-approval process? This is an important one because if they've started the pre-approval process, I'm going to go straight for the 30 to 45-minute buyer's consultation with my buyer's guide. If they haven't started the pre-approval process, I'm going straight for the 15-minute intro call. So it's going to send them the right Calendly link based off of how far along in the process they are. And I found this out because when someone was pre-approved and more ready to go, I would try to go for the intro call when they were more ready to go like dive deeper, and I've lost some business. That's where I kind of switched up my process around that. What city do you currently live in? This helps too, because it makes us know if we're going to have to educate further on that call. If someone's like from Boston, we're going to be like, okay, let me give you the rundown on Oakland. Let me give you the rundown on XYZ city. If they already live in Oakland, we're like, oh, it's so cool that like usually have to do a bunch of education. You already know what to expect. What area we'd like to purchase in. This also helps. Just know that what we're going to be talking about. And I think this is a game changer right here too, because it makes people feel special. I think it's really important for like, if someone took the time to reach out to you, for them, for you to be their go-to person, give them a follow back. Like that's the least you can do back for them.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
On your form, are you pre-approved? Would it be helpful if you added, I'm paying cash?
Yeah, it could. It could be like, loan cash or something like that. Yeah, it could be helpful.
Because they're saying no, if I'm not getting pre-approved, I got cash, but they don't have a way to say that.
Right. Yeah, we've always heard too of like, you don't want to offend somebody if they're a cash buyer type of thing. But yeah, I mean, it could make a little bit of a difference. Absolutely. Any more questions on this?
So it was it was Linktree, and then what was the other one?
Direct.me.
Direct.me.
Yeah.
Cool. Clintport says, no, I mean the first form before Wahoo. Yeah, link.me. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this
so
is
what?
Matt's Linktree right
Yeah,
here.
this is just a Linktree. This is a
Yeah.
free thing anybody can use.
In
They can hit the
you know what I
website.
love, Matt, is that you're able to shoot this content, and then you're able to shoot videos that look like if you were in a home, but they were for a fragrance ad. You can shoot those too. You're just that good looking. If nobody knows what I'm referring to, he actually was in a video where they were pretending to make fun of like French names in a house, or Italian names, and it was very well
Very
done.
on
over the
brand.
top.
Very on
Very
brand.
on
Yeah,
brand.
for me. Yeah.
All right, so I love these two styles. Any questions before any of you have questions before we pivot? Because I want to get into what you guys actually talked about at RevB, and I'm gonna let you guys just take the floor and riff too. So, any
We love
questions
some good
before
food.
we flip into that? Because I'm interested about. Oh, one question I do have is how do I get, like, I wanted to do something the other day and it was like, oh, you're not a creator account or you're not a business account on TikTok. I might have to have you show me how to do that. Because I was trying to make
I
sure.
don't think of business accounts, because I don't know, just I found with Instagram you have more limitations on that. So I would probably say we're both creator accounts, but
I think Chris too.
yeah, the second that you hit that 10,000 followers, you want to sign up for the creator rewards program.
Perfect. I just need to pay for some people then. Okay.
Jeremy,
all right. So
quick question.
yeah.
What up, Darren?
Oh no, nobody
hey,
from
Roland.
Minnesota. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, nobody.
What's up, man?
Quick question. Now you're filming the videos. Are you just uploading the same video to TikTok and Instagram, or are you doing anything or doing it separate or editing it separately for each platform?
Yeah,
that's separately, because TikTok is longer. So like the max on Instagram for this style at least is going to be 3 minutes. And Matt and I have done some like this 3 minutes, and they honestly didn't do bad. It's kind of stupid that we haven't done more at this point. We're just so used to doing the 45-second to a minute and a half on Instagram, that speed ramp style. I mean, I think one is just, we think it looks so much cleaner. But we have done up to 3 minutes on Instagram. And I think the last one I did on that one got like 25,000 views on Instagram. And I think that Instagram will continue to push that, because it's just like with TikTok, they were really competing with YouTube because they wanted to be a longer form app, right? That's why they started allowing a 10-minute upload. And I think anytime, and Matt will touch on this in regards to YouTube and what he has going on with YouTube, anytime a platform does that, they're going to automatically start pushing that because they want people to utilize that feature more. So, yeah, 3 minutes max on Instagram. If we have one that's short enough on TikTok, that's this style, that is only 3 minutes, then we can definitely double post that same exact one.
And so the TikTok best time frame you found is how many minutes?
Anywhere from 5 to 10. We've had great ones at 3 minutes. We've had great ones at 2 minutes. We've had great ones at 8, 9, 10 minutes. But with this like certain style, a minute or more is what I would say.
And then I have a burner account essentially for TikTok. I'm not on it much, but I'm going to do an actual account now. Any tips quick to set when setting it up? Hey, make sure to do a creator account or make sure to do blank when you're setting it up.
I think creator is going to make the most sense. I honestly would have to look. I don't even know what I have mine set to. If you look at Matt's bio, that's something that's going to be important. You can't put a link in your bio here, I think, until you hit 1,000 followers.
Got it.
So that's going to be goal number one, is being able to get to that reach till you get that link in there. And honestly, to hit 1,000 followers, if you stay really consistent, especially if your views are popping off, it's not going to take long at all.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I want to get into the podcasting part. You guys do a podcast and you're getting traction. Actually, I have one question first. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. The question is from Lorraine. Can this work for less expensive, ordinary homes, or do they have to be amazing high end? What do you think?
You know what? Let's pull up Krista real quick and kind of show you what she's working with, because she's our newest guinea pig. I think it's this one, or which one is this? Is it this one?
Hey, Krista, can you believe?
Yeah, the lower one. There you go.
I text Krista.
Nobody told Krista we called her our guinea pig. So Lorraine, to answer your question, Krista does do some pretty normal ass homes. And she does decent because she can only get to so many interesting homes in her market. And she's actually gotten a good amount of reach outs, and her audience asking for more normal homes. Like even Matt and I, a lot of the times will be like, can you guys just show us a fucking affordable home? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. None of us can afford $2 million homes. We're like, hey, we're in the same boat as you, all right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously you see some beautiful ones. But you also see, like, this one, to me, it's a pretty normal home. 12,000 views.
Look at the top right, 31,000 views for you can hardly even see the home.
Yeah, ranch style, the most boring style possible.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you have it. It's like, I was talking to somebody else about this too at Rev B. It's like, that's in like a military market. And this is what's so crazy about TikTok is the algorithm is so damn powerful at giving you exactly what you're interested in at that exact moment. So if someone we know military relocates a lot, if you're like talking about that and then putting that in your captions and things like that, it's going to find those people, and they're going to build trust with you because you're talking exactly their language of what they want. Like, I had a video the other day where my call to action was it wasn't that purposeful, but there was like an artist studio in the back of the house. And I was like, if you're an artist, right at the beginning, you're going to absolutely love this one. If any of you that, clay workers or painters or whatever, stick around, wait till you see the studio in the back. And I had a really, really prominent artist reach out to me and was like, hey, we're thinking about moving to Berkeley. Got him going with a lender for pre-approval. So just finding those little things of who you're going to be speaking to is huge.
That's cool. What about reaching out to the agents? Johnny's question is getting agents to allow you to shoot their properties. What's the script like, and how do you get approval?
Let me pull that up real quick.
Oh, you actually have a slide for this. This is amazing.
Yeah, we're like kind of professional. It's kind of wild, right?
Jeez, I don't even have slides.
This is just the same Rev B slide, so don't give us too much credit.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is it right here. If you guys want to take a little screenshot of this is what we send to every single agent. And it's funny, we've had agents do their own when we tell them, like, we ask permission, and then we send them this one, and they're like, dude, this one got me, like, this one was like so much easier. Like, I got so many more yeses off of this one versus the previous one that they were using.
Yeah, so we send this out to every agent for every single home until we start to get a good relationship with that agent. And we kind of say, hey, do you need me to send this every time? Because a lot of times they'll say, hey, anytime you want to do one, go for it. You'll have those deals with agents. But if you don't know them, if you haven't really connected with them, we send this every single time just in case they ever have an issue. We're able to not burn any bridges. And it's also just to have a paper trail too, to where if anybody gets upset about it, you can say, I sent you a thing, you said yes or just didn't respond. I tried, sorry, but I did try to reach out. So it's just, it's good. It's good manners all the way around.
I love it.
I will
I
say
think
real
that's
quick,
go ahead.
agents love this. Like we'll have agents that reach out to us and they're like, we just love the fact that because in every video, if you guys watch our videos on TikTok, we'll always say like, this home's listed at 1.5 million. It's listed by Tracy Sichterman of, Berkeley Hills Realty. And they'll reach out to us and be like, we just love the way you go about this, which is huge because we'll have some agents that are like, never, don't ask permission. We see like, and they see it, right? And maybe they may do good reviews, maybe they don't, but building that mutual respect and trust is going to go way further in every single thing that we do.
I think that's fantastic, Roland. Otherwise, agents will see that and they're like, "Hey, Matt just took my listing as his
Yeah,
own." But when you're shouting them out and saying, "Hey, this is Matt's, listing," I think they're like, "Hey, respect. You can do more."
Yeah,
exactly.
they appreciate it. There's an agent in our market where small little anecdote. She just came out with a $4 million-ish listing, which is like highest high end of kind of our market. Like that is a beautiful home. And she said, no videos, no pictures. And I messaged her and said, hey, because I know this agent very well. I've done a bunch of her videos. I said, hey, I know it says, but could you, I even filmed it already, but I won't post it. I promise you. Just take a look at it. She took a look at it, and this was her response to me. And this is one of like the most powerful listing agents we have in our market. She said, "Oh my God, can you sell my house when it's time to list?" That's what the agent said to me about my video, right? But that's the power of it. Is now this agent like super trusts me enough to where if I just ask her, hey, I think my audience would love this, and again, the pitch was, how I present these videos, right? They're professional. I talk good about the house. Of course, I'll call out a little thing here and there if there's something, but like I would for any buyer, what I do and you know what it can get you. And she was like, all right, go ahead. And it's doing great. And it's good juju all around. It's just so great with these connections you can make. And that's from doing it the right way, right? Because I did say, I won't post it if you don't want me to. That's totally fine. But because of that mutual respect that Roland said, that you said, Darren, is you make those relationships and just makes you a better agent.
Hey, Matt,
It disarms them too.
sorry.
Go ahead, Darren.
I was just gonna say, do you feel that people that say no, the agents, they feel like you're gonna one up them, and their sellers are gonna be, "Hey, why don't you do something like this? I'm gonna hire Matt or Roland next time." Do you find that, and that's kind of the barrier for some?
Yes, and we've found that some agents who have allowed us to do their home tours for a year, all of a sudden a few weeks ago said, hey, we're not allowing you to do these anymore. And when asked why, they basically said, we're not going to tell you, too bad. And then they started producing more videos that looked an awful lot like what Roland and I have been doing, which is fine, right? Which is fine. I get that. But to me, if I was on the flip side, like if I didn't do TikTok videos and I knew Roland did, and we had this mutual relationship, right? I would spin it in the fact of, if I sit down at the listing appointment, I say, hey, I'm going to get you all this cool stuff. Not only that, I have a guy that I know, and almost use Roland as like a piece of like a tool of my listing agreement of, I can call this guy, look at the reach he does. We're going to get him involved because I think this house fits what you're doing. And we're going to use him to get you even more views. So I would make him even like a part of my listing appointment in a sense, to wrangle him in. So I don't know. I think the people who are adverse to collaboration are kind of only hurting themselves and their clients, but what do I know?
Speaking of collaboration, I heard the event did volumes for the agents at Real, just showing how much everybody collaborated and gave love. Rod Alawan literally DM'd me. He's like, that was the first time I actually like felt all of the love and understood what you meant about community. So good job to all of you guys. Lynn had a question. She said, red font on all of the videos. Was that something that you tested? Is this something your guinea pig is doing only? But how did you come up with the font and how did you do that?
My branding used to be red. And I did like a retro font. Let me see if you guys can see it on mine.
And
I think
I copied Roland because it worked for him. And
and then
I was
Krista
like, well, I
copied.
guess it works for me. And then Krista saw us and said, well, it works for them. So I guess it's going to work for me. And that's how it started for us.
Yeah, so you can see mine. Like I'll make mine a little more prominent, like a little bigger, like as big as I can without trying to block the house. But yeah, it was just one of those things where it's the same thing with hashtags. Like I will do a gross amount of hashtags. But like I never, it was just one of those things where I started doing that and I just didn't stop because it's what's worked for me. Does it have any significance at all? I have no idea.
And we tag as well, the same place, San Francisco Bay Area, every single time.
Yep.
So not a
Great
specific
point.
city, not a specific neighborhood. We just say San Francisco Bay Area because, again, for Roland and I, the Bay Area is kind of our own encompassed market. So we make sure just to say, hey, if you're in the Bay Area, we know you're probably going to know this area or house. So take a look.
Are you guys doing captions? Clinton asked, what do you think of captions for your videos, like the Captions app or captioning inside TT or Instagram?
Yeah, someone mentioned that at RevV actually and said has some really good points about the hearing impaired or people who just watch videos, you know, at work when they're on a break when they don't want their boss to know, and so it's on silent. And I think it's just one of those things like how Roland started with the red font. We just didn't start doing it in the beginning. And for me, I'm worried about a big change like that and it changing the algorithm just because I feel like this thing is such a like a baby bird that I just want to hold and protect and cherish forever. And so I'm really averse to adding some new stuff. But I think it absolutely can work and it totally makes sense. And I think if you start your content in your channel doing that, and that's just what your audience expects when they come to your channel, I think that absolutely can work and can grow.
Yeah, and someone made a great point where like you know, there's like this crazy percentage of people that watch videos without sound. But also like there's like a deaf community. So like they would probably love to
Were you listening to me when I was speaking, Roland?
oh,
I
did you?
said
My
that.
bad. Sorry. Dude, sometimes when you speak, I just absolutely zone out. Like it's just so natural.
What?
Huh?
I heard you guys were fun on stage, and you don't disappoint.
They were fantastic banter.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that could have brought a little bit more energy, but you know, we all
Hey, you know me.
Roland's a little brutal to Matt.
He was. Thank you for sticking up for me,
Yeah.
Lauren. You were there. You saw the bloodbath that happened.
Craig wants to know if you guys are married. I mean,
dude, we
Bay
get that
Area-
all the time.
Yeah,
We've gotten close, but we're not there yet.
He wishes.
wishes.
He wishes.
All right. So the other question was, do you shoot if people don't allow you to? Says, do you film if they don't say it's okay? Do you even respond? Do the people respond? That's what Lorraine asked.
Yeah.
You know, I would
So
check your local rules because honestly, there's some MLSs out there or you know, whatever you want to call it, associations, where they wouldn't technically require permission to do videos. So you got to check your rules. We do it same thing as a respect thing. If someone says no,
Yeah.
no, we're not going to do that. Because you know, at the end of the day, we don't want to piss off their clients. You know, some of these like higher price point homes, it could be somebody who really, really values their privacy. And they may not want this type of you know, point of view in their house, even though photos are all online. It's a little bit different.
So I can't just go twerking in somebody's listing.
Yeah. So that's where I think people will get pissed off. Like we have a lot of agents who like go up and like, you know, there's kind of some trends right now where it's like you go and like cuss and like, you know, say this or say that. And like, you know, everybody's point of view is different, but maybe say some disrespectful stuff. And then like Matt and I will send each other this stuff. And we're like, dude, this is somebody
Slaps.
that could ruin it for a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah. There was
'Cause
one
we've
going
had
around
some
the other day
agents-
that I was a little, it was a girl. I don't know where it was. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
So we've had some agents that are like, listen, I would love to do that, but if I allow you to do it, then I'd have to track everybody that's done it. And I just like I don't want my client to see something and get upset. And like, you know, we could be like, hey, well, just look at our style. This is what we do. But it's kind of like, hey, if I let you in, I let everybody in, and I'm not willing to do that.
Will you stop screen share?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. All right. So I couldn't see everybody's face, especially Tomcat. So all right. So what are the questions we got for these guys? I do want to get into the podcasting. Was there a favorite slide that you just absolutely want to show? Because you spent all that time on those slides. Was there an absolute favorite slide that you had to show?
Matt has some favorites.
Yeah,
I
Matt. What was your
do.
favorite
I
slide?
think so. I have two. I think my favorite slide was we'll go with the first one we talked about, was the age range breakdown on who my followers are on TikTok. We did a little experiment where I basically said like, hey, raise your hand if you think like TikTok is for a young audience, or kids or buyers couldn't be on there. It's just for dancing. We had a pretty good contingent of people raise their hand. So the next slide that hit was my followers broken down by age. And while yes, 29% are between 18 and 25, 70% is older than that, older than 25. And who's older than 25? Home buyers, right? So my biggest range was 25 to 34. It was like 40%. I'm like, that's my first time home buyer age range. 40% of 100,000 followers, 50,000 followers are in the age range for first time home buyers. 20% are from 36 to 48. Who's that? The move ups, dream homes, downsizes, investments, that was 30%. And so it really changed the mindset. I had so many people personally come up to me and say, dude, you kind of blew my mind with that slide. I really, my biggest objection for not using TikTok was the fact that it was for kids dancing, and you showed me that it absolutely is not that. And so that was my favorite slide, was showing people that there absolutely are people wanting to do business in that age range on this app.
I love it. How many of those were from China though?
I was thinking, do we add the next slide to show like 90% are from like the United States, or, whatever number? But I'm like, you know what? People can see our comments. People can see that they're here. And if they're from China, fine.
We
Hey, if you
should,
want to
though.
invest, if you want to invest out here, that's fine. Please.
Yeah. No, we should throw that in there. I mean, me and Matt talked about doing like different spin-offs of this kind of slide deck and things like that, where, yeah, we can show you the exact, like, what percentage of each country, but then also city. So for ours, it's like San Francisco's #1, like San Jose, LA. So that's where it's like people that are really familiar with California, we'll get some New York in there. But it does, like, the analytics are awesome on TikTok.
But I'll even say this, Roland, and this is a really good point that we should touch on as well, which is I don't mind if people in other areas outside of California see our stuff, because TikTok is so strong. People who are seeing our stuff from outside of California probably are interested in California or the Bay Area in some way. And the reason it's so strong is because Roland just got them under contract. He had 2 clients from Boston reach out to him because they're like, hey, we're going to be relocating to the Bay Area. Their algorithm knew that and showed Roland's videos of the Bay Area. They reached out to Roland from Boston. I just got reach outs from some clients in Georgia who are relocating to the Bay Area. And because their algorithm was full of Bay Area things all over, they started seeing my videos about homes. So I got these clients from Georgia now for the Bay Area. So I don't mind if other people see it, because they could be potential clients who are moving to our space if they're looking at our content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a few weeks ago. I was in Phoenix with Neil Dingra. I think he also spoke there.
Yep.
And myself and Bob just said, like, on YouTube and things like that, like views, views, everybody's chasing views. Views aren't the end all be all. That, low views don't matter because you can still get leads from them. And Neil came up and was like, no, views are so important. You got to get all the views, right? And I mean, I think we were both right at the same time, right? All the views that you're getting help fuel to get this in front of the people that are going to reach out to you. YouTube being such a specific thing is that it is a search engine. So people are more searching for that versus like, one of the cool things about your TikTok, and I can talk about my TikTok and Instagram, these posts that I'm doing and these YouTube videos that I'm doing, they're all the short stuff. If you were just to Google any of those things, all of my Instagram videos pop up now, my TikTok videos and my YouTube video pop up. So it's not just YouTube that is the search, it's also TikTok and Instagram as well. Talking about YouTube, though, Lorraine asked, you mentioned you do YouTube also and shoot them in appropriate format. What does that mean? How is that working for you?
I think you should share Matt's YouTube would be the most helpful.
You want to share it, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get that pulled up. Let's see.
Yeah, I was shocked because on ChatGPT, my assistant or my VA, she's in North Carolina. She was looking at something on ChatGPT, and she was looking at something specifically in Austin. And she's like, "You wouldn't believe it. I was trying to write a script for you, and your videos came up in ChatGPT. Like
Nice.
here's an example of a video, and it was literally my video." She's like,
That's
"I'm doing
awesome.
this for this guy, and your videos are coming up on ChatGPT."
That might be the next thing, like how to
There
be
we
the
go.
most prominent when someone searches on ChatGPT, like
Yeah,
best real estate agent in Austin.
yeah. Well,
It actually really is. I'm in a very small market outside of Atlanta, and I now am struggling on because my website has like SEO. I'm now like it actually references me. So it's not giving me
Nice.
new information, it's giving me my website on ChatGPT. And then
that's
it
tough.
also, like when you Google now, all the AI is the links. So it definitely will recommend you now to people. So that's probably huge because a lot of people are using it.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see like on if because I don't upload to Grok or to TikTok or not TikTok to X. I'd wonder if X would start doing the same thing with Grok. All right.
All right.
Tell us what you got going on here, Matt.
Yeah. So I started this, as you can see, 1 year ago, almost to the day, because at last year's Rev B, we saw Raj. I don't know if all of you saw him speak about doing long form walkthroughs on YouTube. And I did one and it didn't do well. And I stopped because I'm an instant gratification person and it just sat there for a long time. In January, YouTube came out and said, hey, shorts are now, instead of 90 seconds, we're going to make them 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I think I could do a 3-minute walkthrough if I just do it a little faster than normal. And so the day YouTube announced this new thing, I posted a video on it, the number one day. And after 4-ish months, my videos went from like 400 views, you can see, to now they're getting 3,000, 5,000, 13,000, 19,000, 12,000. And this is just in the last couple weeks. And so it's seeming to have the same sort of trajectory that Roland and I saw with TikTok, where it kind of had a little bit of growth and then immediately took off. And growing 1,500 subscribers in 4-ish months is on YouTube is pretty cool. So I don't know. It hasn't got me business yet, not yet. However, I am starting to get comments now, just like we see on TikTok, of like, hey, Matt, I just sent a one to Roland that I got last night. Someone said, hey, I'm trying to get my wife to move over to the East Bay, but she likes another area. We're working on getting pre-approved right now. And I'm like, oh. So I immediately commented, blah, 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 blah. Do you need a realtor's? I was like, so you need a little help with a realtor, with a little face. But I'm starting to see the same sort of client potential reach out from this as I have from TikTok. So I'm pretty excited to continue to grow this and to see if it turns into something.
Yeah, that's cool. Darren asked if I put my same news style onto YouTube, and the answer is yes. And here's why. Um, I don't necessarily recommend on YouTube messing around too much with different things especially on the shorts. The thing is, I do videos on YouTube about what's coming to Austin, and I actually will take 5 or 6 of these stories that I actually do and compile them into a long form video. And so what happens is what I'll do is I will take when I'm posting those videos to say, which video is this referencing? And I always push it back to one of the videos that I did that's a coming soon or a coming, a coming to the area. And so they all relate to something that's actually been on my channel or something related to my channel. If you're doing property tours and then you're doing newsy stuff, it won't work. So like, Matt's all doing just property tours on there. So that works, right? If you were to do news and that, then I would say it's going to mess with the algorithm.
Yeah, I only property tours. I do 3 a week. And I've just been hammering that for the last 4 months, and we're starting to see some pretty good growth at this point. So We'll see. We'll see if we get some reach outs, but I'm remaining hopeful.
Yeah. Do you track KPIs with leads and views, lead view videos?
Not for us. No.
No.
What
I
was
don't think
that?
it does. KPIs, you track the KPIs for the videos? I don't think you do, but
No, I mean,
Yeah.
you can go into the analytics. It's like if you have a really strong hook and a video does really well, your watch time, your full watch time is definitely going to be, a lot higher. But that's about it. It's like trying to get better with stuff like that is about all we do. The
Nice.
more the better watch time we get, the better paydays we get from the Creator Rewards program.
Yeah. How much are you making? Because you were telling me that too. So how many followers do you have on TikTok?
Almost 170K.
Okay. And how much are you making from TikTok by putting out videos?
My average is probably about 3,500 a month. Matt had an insane month this month.
yeah, it's been a good month. But yeah, my average is about 2,000 and Roland's is about 3,500 right now. So it's a nice little bonus.
It's a nice little mortgage payment
It is. That's honestly, yeah, that's
Not
kind
in
of what it is.
California.
Well, yeah.
on a
Pay for the utilities,
2019
maybe.
home that you bought in
Yeah,
2019.
Yeah,
on
there
a,
you
on a
go.
2012 home, yeah, it does good.
Funny. How many leads do you bring in per month from the videos?
It all varies. Like I've had a couple heavy months where it's like every other day something's trickling in.
Damn, nice, dude.
I've had one where it's one that week. I've had, it's all over the place. Probably could get better at tracking that too, like an average. But yeah, we generated a lot of leads over the last year. And we've probably been doing this for about a year, me a year and a half, and Matt about a year and a quarter. Yeah.
I would
Ish.
say
Yeah.
on Instagram now and TikTok. I'm not getting leads on TikTok, but I'm getting lots of engagement. I am getting leads on Instagram. I would honestly say from Instagram, I'm getting at least 3 a week.
Nice.
That's so solid because Instagram, we do not get the same traction from the home tours on Instagram as we do TikTok. What were you going to say, Darren?
I was just gonna say for you three that are getting those leads now coming in, how are you handling all those? Because you probably get to a point like, hey, this is awesome. You got one or two, but now you get probably maybe too many that are coming in. Are you finding team members and say, hey, when we get these leads, I'm going to give you a nice warm handoff and we're doing 50-50 on them? Or how are you handling some of those that you aren't personally rolling with?
Jeremy, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I started a team, so I have a team agent. I had to track everything that comes through, and so we have, we have sheets for that. Obviously, my wife on the back end is keeping an eye on all of those things and making sure those people are getting reached out to and followed up with. It's tough because a lot of times they're just DMs, right? So you got to take them from DMs to setting a meeting. But I would say from DMs and we're probably setting one at least one buyer appointment or one seller appointment. Tomorrow I have a listing appointment, and then I set 2 listing appointments from a reach out last Saturday. So it's just something you got to have a spreadsheet for the people that are reaching out. And in that conversation, you have to get some data from them, phone number, email, whatever. And then you got to try to convert it into an actual appointment. Obviously, these guys have a good system where people can fill out stuff. But you got to be able to take it and set up an appointment. I think that's the biggest thing too, is you can talk to somebody. And here's a problem you're going to get on any social media, and you guys might face this as well. A lot of times I get people like, hey, give me a call. And they just want to they want free information. That's
Yeah.
all they want. And so you'll get a lot of people that just want free information, or they just want to talk to an influencer.
Well, let's
Yeah,
say
that's
the
where
appointments. Do you do a handoff and say, hey, I can't handle them all, so Matt's my guy that helps out. I'm going to be here too, but do you do some kind of handoff if you can't handle them all, or are you taking them all yourself?
No, I'm not taking them all. It's a handoff.
Yeah, for me, I'm lucky. I work with my mom. So what
So
I do in
cute.
those consultations.
Is that her basement
It's
right there?
so cute, dude.
What was that?
Are
Oh
you
yeah,
in her
I'm in
basement?
mom's basement right now for sure. Locked away. So what I do on those consultations is, I'll just set the expectation where it's going to be like, hey, it's going to be either one of us, showing you homes or doing this or that. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to anything else, like it's a majority of me, I'm taking on a lot. Um, but you know, it's I would say that like unless you're getting like insane numbers like Jeremy Lucky, like building the teams, like you can definitely handle it. What I found when it comes to Instagram is like when we do like videos that go really crazy on Instagram and you're doing like a mini chat thing, where you're getting like a ton of inbound leads coming in like through mini chat, a lot of those are just not as serious. Like people we found don't fill out the forms as much on Instagram as they do on TikTok. So it's just every platform just shows every platform is like a little bit different. Like I found like the spottiest leads will get leads on Instagram, but they're way more spotty on Instagram than TikTok, at least for what we do. But I've seen like a lot of these guys doing the green screens, getting some really solid leads and traction through Instagram specifically.
I love it. Matt, how are you handling it?
I'm handling it. I'm not getting inundated by leads by any means, and so it's just taking it on myself. I hope I can get to the point where I can build a team because I'm getting so many inbound. But right now, it's just taking it myself, making sure my systems are in place so I can follow up on them and get into the finish line. But I hope it explodes to where I build a team one day. That's the ultimate goal. Or maybe I can work. Or maybe I can work with my mom too.
Yeah, I would say, mine's a little bit different because all of my business has been coming from YouTube for a while. So now I'm
Yeah.
adding these as ancillary things, right? And so I wouldn't be, look, you both are getting paid, right, every month just for putting out content. So it's definitely worth it. You're getting paid per video almost. Plus the leads that you are getting, that is a phenomenal additive to it. So Lisa asks, would you suggest focusing on one platform, several, or all?
Yeah, and to touch on that before I move on there, Jeremy, is when I was speaking at the conference, I said, what other lead source pays you for the lead generation part of it?
Yeah.
Like that's the best part is you get paid for the lead generation and then you get the commission from the leads on top of it. So it really does, if you can keep being consistent and build to that level, it's a pretty nice bonus. As far as focusing on platforms, yeah, I would, if you're new to it, or if you don't have a really strong social media cadence, I would just focus on one thing and get really good at that one thing. For TikTok, it's the only video I post on there are the walkthrough videos, and I hit those every single day. And in the last year, I really focused on that. And for about 3 or 4 months, that's all I did was TikTok, 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 just trying to figure it out, trying to crack the code. And once I started to get more consistent with that, I started to see some growth and some numbers. Then I finally shifted. Okay, let's focus on Instagram. How can I incorporate this with Instagram a little bit? And then for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I worked on Instagram while my TikTok was growing. And now I'm like, okay, so I worked on 2 platforms in a year. Now let me see if I can add YouTube to that, see if I can grow a little bit more. But it's been very systematic, very slow growth. I'm taking my time to make sure what I'm doing is working before I move on to the next thing.
Do you guys have a podcast or a live stream or a Zoom that you do that agents can attend?
No, not at the moment.
No, I mean the podcasts that we do, which we've we've just been busy lately. It's been hard to stay consistent with, but
Yeah.
it's Bay Area focused, right? So it's like we wouldn't do something like that, but we were actually thinking about starting this thing called Agent Tactics 2, that we think would work really, really well, and be so much better
Well,
than Agent Tactics 1.
well, I have Christy Jinks on next week, my coach, my personal coach. She's phenomenal. So she will be on Agent Tactics next week. We may have to do a Patulo round 2 and just do Matt, so from that feedback we got there. But all right, we're at the end of the hour. I would love to stay
Oh,
on, but I
damn.
got to jump on my team meeting. Last words from both of y'all.
I hope we get to speak more. I had so much fun at RevB. If you haven't gone, go next year. If you
Yeah.
did go, implement what you learned, because Roland and I implemented what we learned last year and we were speakers this year. So in 1 year, you absolutely can change your business and have exponential growth.
Yeah, my only thing is, anybody on the call, go on to TikTok, search, you know, whatever your market is, if it's like Minnesota real estate agent on TikTok, see what the competition's looking like. If nobody's doing this style of content, you guys have like a green light to just go crazy. So to answer the question too, I think it was from Lisa, like asking like, which one should I focus on? If you see that the market share is for the taking, like go all in on that and go crazy, because you're going to get leads pretty quick if things start going in the right way.
So the audience is speaking right now, and they're saying round 2. If you want round 2 and talk about more about podcasting, hit round 2. May 15th, I have an opening, 10 a.m. Agent Tactics. We might do a full podcasting round 2 if anybody other than Roland puts round 2.
Damn, there's a lot of round 2s in there. A lot of round 2s going on there.
Okay, we got a round 2. All right. I'm going to send out the invitation right now. Matt and Roland, the 15th, if you're available.
I'm down, Roland, if you are, bud.
You know what? Let's lock it in. Let's go ahead and do it.
Locking it in. Let's do it.
Another
What
thing
else are you
though,
doing at 8 a.m., man? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have a kid?
Yeah.
and if you ever get a chance to watch
Do you have a
Matt
single kid or
live,
something? What'd you say, Darren?
I was gonna say, if you ever get a chance to watch Matt live, he does a pretty mean karaoke piano bar.
Hey, let's not blow this guy's head up anymore than
Boy.
it already is,
Yeah.
okay?
Did anybody else see it that was there?
He did Fall Out Boy.
You
It was
know what's
pretty
hella
good.
funny about that is
Yeah.
he was dreading going up there, but it didn't seem like it, right? It
No.
seemed
Must
like
have been his first time with that
ready to
song,
take that
too.
stage. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
But you know, me being the friend I am, I had to be like, dude, you're gonna do great. You got this. Like, don't worry. Everybody wants you up there.
I
That's
want
what
to see
friends
you
are
up there
for.
next time, Roland.
I
Oh, dude,
actually
no, you
saw
don't.
Matt do I actually saw Matt in where was that, Matt? It was
it
in
Vegas?
Was that last year? Yeah, it was Vegas.
it was an après ski, and this guy could really
Yes.
shake his rear end. He definitely danced with some drunk guy.
We all dance with that drunk guy, Jerry.
we all
No,
did
not
dance
I,
with that
not
drunk guy.
I.
That guy was really, that
Actually.
guy's house was, I guess, the house in, what was it, in what is that oil field show?
Landman or something?
Yeah.
Landman, yeah, I
Landman.
guess it was his actual house. So that's what happens. All right, the invite's out. We're going to end it there. I thank you guys both for coming on. You have their Instagrams, you have their handles. Reach out to them if you have more questions. They would love to spend all day answering any more questions y'all have. I will see y'all on the flip side. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.